Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and we are answering publicly posted questions from YouTube users. Today's user name is Shelby W. And this question was posted about 10 hours ago, and it was posted on our video of August 29th, 2022, so yesterday's video. And that video is entitled, Why Would an Employment Attorney Want to Settle a Case Before Filing? All right, let's get in the question. All right, so Shelby asks, Hi, Mr. White. You can call me Vince. We're all friends here. Do you have any insight as to reasons an employment lawyer would put a much lower value on a case than what the employer's lawyers did? Like, in negotiations, the employer's lowest offer is what the complainant's attorney says is what the case is worth. But the employer is clearly willing to pay much more. Sorry if that's a confusing example. It's not. I think I understand what you're saying. And then she goes on. It's interesting hearing from a lawyer's perspective regarding things like the EEOC. And I thought the video on class actions brought up really interesting things I never considered. Thank you. That's, I'm always hoping that these videos are useful in some way. I'm in kind of a weird position in that I have we get a lot of repetitions with employment cases, I think perhaps more than any other firm in the US. And so our perspectives grow over time. You know, there's definitely things that I thought at the beginning of my practice, when I was first getting in this field that just weren't true or didn't really hold up at scale. You know, as you gain more and more experience with something, often your thought processes develop, right? So I try to share those. I hope they're valuable. It's kind of the point of this channel, right? All right, back to your question. The core of the question is, why would a plaintiff's employment attorney put a lower value on a case than what the employer's lawyers did? Okay, so yesterday I made a video that had like a 10-minute diatribe about case flipping. So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, hey, check out the August 29th, 2022 video about case flipping, because that's the first reason, right? There's bad attorneys who flip cases in this field, and they try to make they try to sell cases out for less than they're worth for a quick settlement, so they can make a really high like dollar per hour, right? And the example I gave was if you settle a case in 2 hours for 20 grand, that attorney, if she or he is at 40%, that attorney just made $8,000, so $4,000 per hour, right? It's great for the attorney, but it could be really bad for the client. So that's the first answer, and that's kind of the nefarious answer. The second answer is more innocent, but not really better for the client. A lot of attorneys don't fully grasp how to value cases, right? And that's not really a surprise, because this entire industry is largely one in which we fight about the valuation of cases, right? On the average case, everyone comes to the case with an intention or desire to settle that case. This is commonly what defense attorneys want to do. It's also why I joke around that defense attorneys are our friends, right? Defense attorneys are the people who process the checks for us. They get our clients' money, right? So I joke around about that. And it's not fully a joke, right? Defense attorneys do come, generally speaking, with a desire to cut a check. So what most of the fighting comes down to is the numbers on that check, right? Like how many zeros is a big point of contention. And so you get sometimes these plaintiff's attorneys who are less experienced or a little bit beaten down, who start to think like defense counsel, because they don't really, there's definitely plaintiff's attorneys who don't talk to other plaintiff's attorneys, right? And you'll speak to them and they'll like eventually I run into one, I have a chat with one, and they're quoting like valuation tactics and numbers and formulae that like are what would be espoused by a defense attorney, right? It's an argument. These are the arguments and the valuation tactics of a defense counsel. And you wonder to yourself, how does this plaintiff's counsel internalize these thought processes, right? Like Classic defense counsel argument. Oh, this person hasn't worked there for that long, so it shouldn't be worth that much. Okay. Notice how that's not in any of my valuation videos? Yeah, because it's not really a meaningful statement, right? But a plaintiff's attorney who's heard that from every defense attorney they've spoken to ever, because you will, right? On every case where the person hasn't been there that long, every defense attorney goes, well, they haven't been there that long. Okay. So what? That changes the nature of sexual assault? Changes the nature of workplace discrimination? Changes how we calculate front pay? I don't think so, right? But you will run into these plaintiff's attorneys who have internalized too many conversations with defense counsel, who are incredibly persuasive and good at their job. That's why they make the big bucks, whether they win or lose, right? And the beauty of a defense attorney is they get paid the big bucks no matter what. They can lose huge and still get paid. We can't do that, right? So often you'll find these super talented people as defense attorneys because they want lots of money for helping bad people, right? And also there's defense attorneys who just believe in what they do. Don't get me wrong, right? There's a variety of different people who become defense attorneys, but the point of this digression is these, plaintiff's attorneys, they don't talk to other plaintiff's attorneys. They're not at firms. Maybe they're a solo or a small practitioner, or they just hop into employment law from personal injury or matrimonial, right? We see a lot of those folks. We're like, oh boy, matrimonial's hard. It's a lot of fighting and a low quality of life. I'm going to go get that easy money in employment law. Okay, well, good luck with that easy money. Because in matrimonial, you got paid no matter what. It's like a defense attorney. You got paid hourly, right? Generally speaking, you get paid hourly or a flat rate. You get your money whether you win or lose. Not the case for a plaintiff side employment attorney, generally speaking, right? So, they hop over here in what they view as the easy money because they read a newspaper article. Like, oh my God, this guy got his clients $10 million. I want 40% of $10 million. I'm going to be an employment attorney. Never run an employment case before in my life, but I'm a matrimonial attorney, so okay, yeah, let me know how it goes. If you're too ignorant to realize that the reason the article about the $10 million win is in the papers and made national news is because that's rare. It's an outstanding result. It is a shocking result, a wonderful result. I love it. I'm so happy for that plaintiff, but it's not the everyday, right? So what these attorneys who jump into this field don't understand is like, oh yeah, you got to help 100 people to find the 7-figure case. So I think some people might argue you got to help 200, 400 people to find the 7-figure case, right? Now, fundamentally, you should be okay with that if you're an employment attorney. You should be thrilled that you're helping people. And when you help people, you make money. You might not make 7 figures of money, but you make money, right? So as long as you're helping people, you're making money, and that's a good thing, and you help lots of people, and eventually you help the people who get the 7-figure case, and that's wonderful, right? It's really nice for you that you helped lots of people and that you made potentially lots of money helping lots of people, right? That is the correct attitude of a plaintiff attorney in this field, in the field of employment law. But that's not the attitude often of a PI attorney or a matrimonial attorney or a criminal attorney, whoever comes into this field not knowing what they're doing. And they don't talk to other employment attorneys because they're like, oh, my field's super expensive and, I'm a famous matrimonial attorney. Okay, yeah. Well, it's different. It's different, and you should have taken the time to familiarize yourself with this field before you began taking people's lives and livelihoods in your hands. So that's another reason why you'll get people with weird valuations and low valuations on the plaintiff side. There's also completely legitimate reasons, right? Like, I've had clients in my life who I've spoken to, and I was like, oh God, I cannot put you on the stand. No way. Just your ability to communicate or your mental well-being or your aggressive nature, I can't put you on the stand. I love interacting with you. I love you as my client. I think you're amazing. But God, I cannot put you in front of a jury. That will change my valuation. Because inherently I know I don't want to embrace the risk of trial because my client, for whatever reason, will not present well. I could just be, listen, I've had clients who insisted on wearing $20,000 outfits with $30,000 of jewelry every single day of their trial. and talking about it where people can hear. You're asking for money. You want money. Why are you telling everyone how much money you have? Why are you telling the people who probably, as a jury, don't have $20,000 outfits and $30,000 of jewelry about all the money you have? Why are you loudly talking about it where people can hear? Right? And listen, I show up at that person's house and I beg that human being, can you just dress like a normal human being for one day in your life? Can you just please think this through? Now, okay, that's fine. That's your right. I can't make you do things. But I now regret trying this case because I think this jury hates you. Hates you, right? And so there's, all these reasons why you might not want to present someone. There's also flaws in cases, right? And oftentimes you'll have a plaintiff's attorney who goes through a load of documentation and sees a lot of flaws in cases much, much earlier than defense counsel. And that might just be that the plaintiff's attorney has it in their hands first. It might just be the plaintiff's attorney is a hungry plaintiff's attorney and believes, like I believe, that cases are won and lost in discovery, right? And they want to get out ahead. And defense counsel, I'm sure they want to do the work because they want to bill, they want to make the money, but they want to do that to the tune of, 50 hours, 100 hours of discovery work potentially. And so their review of discovery takes much longer than the hungry plaintiff's attorney, right? Think of us as hungry hippos just grabbing discovery and we want to know everything so we know what's going to go wrong. We know what's going to be our ammunition. Like, it's a little bit different. The approach is different. And so you might see a plaintiff's attorney find things in discovery and say, "Oh my God, what are you doing? I can't go forward on this. This is a nightmare. We could lose everything. We have this great offer on the table and we should get it done. Oh my God, this is so risky. This is horrible." And defense counsel has no idea. No idea. And that plaintiff's attorney is not going to run out there and be like, "Defense counsel, major flaws in my case. You should lower your demand," right? They're going to be like, "Take the great demand, or take the great offer. Take the great offer, client. Here's why. Take the great offer. These things are happening. Your case is not as good as you think it is. It's better than defense. It's not even as good as defense counsel thinks it is," right? That's a very legitimate thing that happens. And it's very jarring for clients, right? Because clients are always like, "Oh, I have the best case in the world." Okay, maybe. But there's only one best case in the world. So statistically speaking, it's probably not yours. And statistically speaking, every single case is flawed to some degree. Always. There's 1,000,001. Frankly, there's probably infinite ways that a case can be flawed, that risk can be introduced into a case. So it's entirely legitimate that your plaintiff's attorney may just look at a case and be like, "I saw in discovery these risks, and I think that we should get this case settled because you could lose everything," right? Once defense counsel clues into these things, the offers are not going to be this high. And I don't think, you obviously believe your attorney could easily get more. That may be true. It may not. Right? And we don't know, I don't know specifically what communications your attorney is having that leads your attorney to believe X, Y, and Z, right? So there are good reasons and bad reasons why a plaintiff's attorney in the field of employment law might actually value a case lower than the defense counsel, right? And I just gave you a quick rundown of a couple of them, but as I'm sitting here, I could be talking for the next 30 hours about how or why this might happen. Okay? So, and it's a big task for you because you have to evaluate, is my attorney selling me out or is my attorney looking out for me? Right? And that's a big decision to make. And you're going to have to evaluate all of your interaction with the attorney, your attorney's reviews, your attorney's wealth of experience in this field, and really come to a conclusion. Does this person have my best interest at heart? Right? That's really the question you're asking. Because if they do have your best interest at heart, then they believe what they're doing is correct. And if they have a wealth of knowledge about the field and they believe what they're doing is correct, then there's a decent chance that what they're doing is correct. Not necessarily. We're all flawed. I myself am deeply flawed. Many of you agree, right? But that being said, if they believe what they're doing is the right thing for you, and they're putting the right thing for you first, I think there's a good chance they might have points that they're making in this valuation. But also, a very common answer to this question is going to be ignorant attorney or crappy attorney who wants to flip cases. You got big questions to ask yourself. I hope this helps. Good luck to you, and I wish you a huge success and a massive settlement. Everyone like and subscribe if this was helpful. Helps me to help more people just like you.